I think we caught that throw clear. Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to day 2 of the GSL. It was amazing. Day 1. We're excited to be back. We have 3 Koreans and 1 Canadian down here duking it out. How you doing, State?
Man, I'm excited. It's been pretty fun. Yesterday, first time casting GSL in what feels like almost a year. We got to see Rainer advance to the round of 8, and now in the second group stage of the round of 12, we have Trigger, a Canadian, making his GSL debut. We might have a world where we have 2 foreigners in the round of 8. It's very exciting.
I welcome this. I'm really excited to have Trigger down here. Trigger actually played in my little Battle Aces tournament that I did on stream. He won it. He's an excellent player. He's here now in StarCraft 2. He's been playing for a really long time, like everybody has who's been playing StarCraft, but he's finally now at GSL level.
Yeah, Trigger's one of these guys that's just been quietly getting better for years and years and years, and I think he's been living in Korea, I want to say like maybe almost a year now. I don't remember exactly what he did.
I think about a year and a half, yeah.
Yeah, and I think the training is really starting to play off because like he's participating in these online tournaments and he's knocking out some heavy hitters.
Yeah.
He played well at GSL qualifiers to make it all the way to the round of 12. And I was talking to him before when we showed up to the studio today. And he's actually feeling pretty confident. So
it's going to be interesting. You know, GSL's been around for like 16 years now, and you know, we've had different eras of StarCraft, obviously with the different expansions, but just different players that, you know, came up to the top, some fell out, and some are still here with us now. But I really welcome someone like Trigger coming in here and you know, being a great new addition here to our tournament.
Yeah, it's rare to get a new face.
I remember when
GSL.
Zhao came. I think about Zhao, and I'm like, we got a new one.
Yeah.
This is crazy. It's like a new kid at school.
Yeah, Nightmare's another one of those guys who, I mean, he's been around for years now, but he was
also
one of these players that just slowly and incrementally got better. And
it's
fun.
Know, this happens, especially when a game's old, where it tends to be a lot of the same people kind of staying at the top. So it's really exciting when you see somebody like Trigger come in here. And I think you're right. He seemed pretty calm, seemed pretty collected.
Yeah.
So let's see how he does. Now, this group is actually pretty tough. I mean, with Maru here, you're almost guaranteed to have him get out of a group. You're almost guaranteed to have him win a tournament. You know, there's very few players that are like that. But we do advance 2 players.
Yeah, round of 12 is going to be finishing today here with Group B, as 2 players will advance into the round of 8 to join everybody else next week as we close out the GSL. And make sure, if you want to go to the round of 8 and the finals, that tomorrow you use this on-site viewing guide and get your tickets. The tickets do go on sale tomorrow. The finals absolutely will sell out. Make sure you get it as quickly as possible.
Yeah. We want to see you guys here. GSL is still around, but it's very short now. So, you know, you don't have that many days that you can come down here and do it. Season 2 is just around the corner. By the way, we are community funded now. This is the nature of StarCraft 2. Consider supporting the GSL.
Yeah, you got a lot of cool perks. I know I was talking about it yesterday, too. The Patreon, $10 a month gets you the GSL replay package, which is a pretty cool perk, if you ask me. I would have paid a lot more than that back when I was trying to become, you know,
that is
high-level
right
pro gamer back then. My goodness, getting hero replays, rogue replays, Maru replays.
Right.
It's just wonderful. And if you want to support, in my opinion, the best esport of all time.
Yeah. So
no better way to do it.
Scan that QR code. I'm just happy to have GSL back here. You know, I've been coming to this studio, and the smaller studio we had before the show really took off. It's good to be back here casting these games, even if it's been quite a while.
Yeah, I'm a little sad that the season is only going to be 5 days for Season 1 and Season 2, but just there was such a long downtime between EWC and the circuit basically getting announced again. For 2025, we're going to have 2 or 3 months of crazy StarCraft. Everything is getting packed into this little condensed package.
Right, yeah, we kind of marathon through this.
Yeah, it's going to be a speed run here as we look at how the groups are lining up. So from Group A, we had Kira and Rainer advance into the round of 8. Kira's going to be joining Byun and Hero in Group A of the round of 8, and Rainer will be joining Classic and Gumiho in Group B. That is all happening next week on the 14th and on the 15th, and 2 of these players, of course, will be joining them. Trigger making his GSL debut, and then a lot of OGs. Maru and Rogue, who have been around in StarCraft 2 forever. Nightmare, who has been a GSL staple for it, or Nightmare, who's been a GSL staple for it, feels like whatever. This is 9th Code S.
crazy. The 36th Code S. We've done so many of these.
Yeah.
Ah, it's crazy.
8 first place finishes, 1 Super Tournament victory.
It's crazy seeing Trigger here for the first time, and then you think Maru's done this 36 times, and then you think, how many times have I done this? Oh my God.
Yeah. There were a lot of GSL days, especially in the early days. You and Dan were just...
It was a little crazy. It was hard to even play StarCraft 2 because we were casting so much.
You guys were stuck in the caster mines.
It was like, yeah. No, it's funny because, like, you know, the beta, when it came out, it's like everybody was on and people were hooked, and it was huge. But then, yeah, when the esports stuff hit, it got so big I couldn't even believe it. But, yeah, we were super busy. We had to get a whole bunch of other casters out now. We're going to go to an interview now, and then we'll be starting our matches.
바이탈리티 소속 조성주입니다.
My name is Yoon Hong. I don't know. I'm a player for Basilisk. I play Protoss, and I'm excited to play my first GSL.
팔콘 팀 소속의 저그 유저 이병렬입니다.
안녕하세요. 스트리머 존 프로토스 장욱입니다.
게임을 안 하다가 GSL 일정 뜨고 연습 열심히 했던 것 같아요.
Yeah, I'm very excited. I've always wanted to play GSL, and I didn't know if there would be another one, so I'm very lucky to be able to play it.
솔직히 제가 밖에 나가는 걸 안 좋아해서 컴퓨터를 많이 했는데 체력을 기르면서 이제 준비하고 있었습니다.
런칭도 하고 스타트도 이제 하고 있어가지고 오랜만에 GSL에서 뵙게 돼서 좋습니다.
저는 안 괜찮은 것 같아요. 모든 선수가 다 그렇게 생각할 것 같아서 이게 원래 나이를 먹으면은 컨트롤이 잘 안 돼가지고 저그전이 힘들어요. 성주 토스나 클램 토스의 퍼포먼스만 봐도 부종인데 그 정도 하는 게 말이 안 된다고 생각하고 저는 지금 저프전이 좀 많이 밸런스가 많이 힘들다고 생각을 하고
No, I think Terran needs a buff against Protoss, just a small buff and design changes to Zerg. Like, it's very boring for Zerg to play Protoss. That's the bigger issue in my opinion.
좋을 수 있다고 생각을 하는데 이게 비시즌에 다른 선수들이 좀 게을러진 게 아닌가 싶어서
저는 너무 만족해요. 조교가 없다는 게 만족하고 일단 성주를 아예 못 이길 정도는 아니라고 생각을 해가지고 우기는 솔직히 제가 그냥 이길 것 같고 솔직히 연습만 한다면 트리거 선수는 이길 수 있을 거라 생각합니다.
Scared of Maru, even though he's obviously one of the best Terrans. I feel like he's not in strongest form, and I would rather play Rogue over Raynor, and I don't think Nightmare is as good as like Cure. I feel confident against Nightmare, so yeah, I don't have any complaints.
대진 물어봤는데 제가 자꾸 재밌다고만 하는 거예요. 저는 유진이 형도 있는 줄 알았어요. 그냥 무난한 것 같은데.
근데 이 정도면 이길 수 있다고 생각은 들어요. 그래서 네, 괜찮은 것 같습니다.
그럼요. 토스는 다 괜찮죠. 팬볼 때 찾아뵙는 것만으로도 좋은 것 같아요. 그래서 연습 더 열심히 해가지고 9회 우승 또 했습니다. 화이팅!
I just want to focus on just playing my best. So if I had to guess something, I would just say like top 12 or something would be good. Fighting!
이제 1년 전에 올라갔을 때는 경기력이 아쉬웠는데 그때는 이제 따라잡는 입장이었다 보면 지금은 동등한 선에서 앞서간다고 생각을 하기 때문에 다른 경기력을 보여드릴 수 있도록 하겠습니다. 화이팅!
뭐 아마 이번 시즌이 저한테 좀 마지막이 될 가능성이 높아가지고 좀 더 이제 제 영혼을 불살라서 해보겠습니다. 화이팅!
Right. Some things never change.
Yeah, Maru consistently unimpressive. This is one of them.
Yeah. All right, guys, we're going to be starting this off with Maru. He has won more GSLs than anybody. One of the most decorated players of all time. Some would say he's the GOAT.
Yeah, some would.
Some would.
Some would also say Rogue is the
Some
GOAT.
have even said Rogue is the GOAT.
I think Maru versus Trigger is going to be a really fun match. Now, for Maru, I'm a little bit... concerned is the wrong word, but I'm curious at where he is at, because in his interview he said that he wasn't he wasn't practicing too much before the GSL, circuit got announced again for 2025, which I think is not really unique to Maru in particular. I think a lot of pro gamers kind of just took the break of the offseason.
Yeah.
There's a lot of ambiguity about the future of StarCraft 2, and then once finally the schedule was announced, everyone really ramped up the practice again. But it sounds like, from what I've heard online, Maru is playing through a lot of injury. He's having some pain. It's been harder for him to practice. He's skipping tournaments to focus primarily on GSL, on the road to EWC. And we've even seen it in some of his GSL qualifier matches. Against Classic, for instance, he was doing a lot of two-base all-ins. He's been losing some TVTs, which usually skew a little bit more towards the macro game. And so I was also talking with Trigger, and he said, yeah, I think Maru is probably going to be playing a little bit more of an aggressive, cheesy play style, whether it be the practice or whether it be him fighting through an injury. It might not be the Maru of previous years in terms of form that we're going to be seeing here today. And so I feel like Group B, going up against Trigger, going against Rogue and Nightmare, will be a very good litmus test for exactly where he is going to be at in this GSL.
Yeah, I mean, this is kind of a trial by fire, right? Maru is literally the scariest player in GSL history. Yeah, undeniably. Trigger thinks he can do it. I mean, this is a lot. I don't think any player in GSL history has had more of a, how do I say this? A bigger challenge on the first day.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, this is, we're really breaking you in here. Guys, we're going to go to map 1 of this best of 3. Let's do this. All right, in the top right is Maru, and the bottom left is Trigger. Yeah, I mean, look, this is like, it's a really, really tough challenge to show up at a GSL and perform well on the first day. Trigger obviously has a lot of tournament experience. He's a very good player, but GSL is kind of its own beast, you know? So we'll see how he performs here. He is going against the best player of all time in GSL as well. So if he can play well, if he can look good, it's going to be very promising. And who knows, maybe we have a crazy upset today, and he actually manages to defeat Maru.
Yeah, that would be a lot of fun to watch, honestly. I'm as big a Maru fan as basically anybody. Been watching this guy since the early days of GSL. But for Trigger coming in against the GSL GOAT in his very first GSL match, when you think about the nerves of playing in a tournament with as long as history as GSL, the longest running esports show in the world.
Yeah.
A show that I'm sure Trigger, when he was, even younger than he is now, growing up, watching
this
StarCraft
show is almost
2
as old as he is.
and playing StarCraft
Yeah.
2, to now finally be on the GSL stage and to be going up against the greatest GSL player of all time. Even for someone who is, at this stage an esports veteran in Trigger, you got to think that nerves might factor in at least a little bit here.
Sure. It's got to be weird. You remember a long time ago we did that Tasteless LAN for StarCraft 1. We produced that, and I remember I got to play against Scarlet, and it just like me, having like the role reversed where I'm not casting and I just go, because like I play all the time, right? But I'm playing on stream normally, right? That's been my, but to go and sit down and like sit in the actual setting, and then you see the camera on your face, and when you make a mistake, you're like, oh, they're gonna have fun with that one.
Yeah, that was so funny, by the way. I
yeah.
remember Scarlett was talking about how after she played you, because the booth you guys were in were soundproofed, but she could still hear you like every time you messed up.
Oh yeah, because I talked.
Oh crap!
I talked to myself. I was like, I remember we got in the match. We got in the booth, and I'm like, okay, well, let's just do what we normally do. I'm like talking to myself.
She can hear
I'm like, this
everything
is
you're
just.
saying.
I'm like, this is just a game, and then I start to hear her laughing, and I'm like, oh, she can hear me. I want to kill myself.
'Cause I was casting that, and we could see you guys on camera, and I would just see Sasha laugh, and I'm like, what is going on in there? Yeah, it is
so
a very,
funny.
very different feel to be in the booth in a tournament. Oh, Trigger actually going all the way to main base. He got sneaky in here where the Adept didn't get to snipe down that first SCV, as Maru's going to put in the gas. I'd love to see Trigger get one, maybe even two of these if he's able to rotate down the left side, but some nice scouting information. Ooh, man, Maru a little bit shaky here with the early game defense.
Yeah, this Adept already in here causing a problem. I don't think this is going to amount to too much.
Okay. A lot of juking and jiving happened with this Adept. feel like it's rare that we see any Protoss player get adept in the base of Maru like this and effectively get a full scout and an SCP kill.
It's pretty unheard of, man. A little bit of micromanaging there on the medevac. I think we're going to have a drop inbound here shortly. 2 gateways actually at the natural. That's kind of a funny spot to put that. I don't think we've ever really had that before. So yeah, let's see how he does. We should point out too, Maru's been having some issues with his wrist. It does seem like stutter step microwave Marines specifically is bad for your wrist.
Yeah, Terran's just a hard race, man. they're always the injured ones. It's never the Protoss players getting injured. All right, this drop now coming in. Trigger going for a really fast third base. Those 2 gateways in the natural expansion are just now finishing up, so there should be a couple more stalkers warping in here shortly. I don't know if Maru's going to have enough DPS to get the cancel on the Nexus. Indeed, he does. That will fall, even the probe going down, so at least another 30-second delay on that expansion,
Yeah,
and Maru's going to be happy with that.
That's actually pretty big. It's really important that you get the third base up right away.
Oh, it's a Gator and a Robo with the natural, okay.
Oh, okay. Oh, I'm sorry. I thought it was double gateway for some reason. Okay.
No, I thought the same thing.
Yeah. Okay, so he's got kind of a forward position here. I'm curious. He just sent 2 SCVs, which tells me he's probably going to do something pretty quick. Oh, I see. He's going to repair this. I don't feel like we ever see people do that.
I think that Maru is most likely going to be going for a lot of siege tank pushes on 2 bases in this game.
I think he's going to be maybe bunkering and trying to put pressure on here. Now, Trigger took a big shot there on that Stalker. No shield, some hull damage. And I think Maru basically wants to end this game right away.
Yeah, this is going to be a very difficult push for Trigger to stop, even with Blink, because it's only 6 Stalkers, and the firepower of this Terran army is very large. This is a tough position. Even the siege tank basically getting almost a melee range of that Nexus. It is right up here in the front. I'm not sure if these shield batteries are going to be able to finish. You see Trigger right now maneuvering to the center of the map. He's trying to catch reinforcements, section off this Terran army so that when he warps in some more guys. Oh, wait, no, he's actually going for the siege tanks.
Oh, that was sick.
Whoa, Trigger.
That was wild. He takes out 2 tanks, but, I mean, that was a lot of hits on those Stalkers. The Banshee's going to run away.
It was a nice move by Trigger, but I feel like the unit production just isn't quite there yet. Colossus just started there at the Robo, but keep in mind, that is at the natural expansion. It's a very vulnerable position, and oh no, flicking into the reinforcing Marine and Siege Tank as well is going to lead to more Stalkers going down. No shield batteries here at the natural, and Maru already in range of the pylon powering the Robo, powering the gateway. Oh, this is a deadly push.
GG. Nasty push by Maru. Quick execution. Yeah, you were talking about this before he went live, State, but that Maru is, with a wrist injury, you're kind of, it's a little bit better to try to do quick all-ins, quick kills, and it totally worked there on Trigger. Trigger sort of shut down before he's really able to show us what he's got, right? He was basically in development when that attack came out there from Maru. Great control, by the way, from Maru. Microing the tank, forcing a lot of shots. We even saw the SCVs taking a little bit of damage and then being healed. Basically, nothing that Trigger could do to get even 5% extra damage before the push actually hit was able to work. Good juggling with the medevac and everything. We're gonna go to Ultra Love, which is how I feel right now.
It is good to be
GSL.
back.
Good to have all you back, all you guys back, viewers.
Yeah. Be back at the studio, having an audience, casting GSL again. It just it feels so good. I felt like a part of my life was missing with just the void that we have had in StarCraft 2.
I like this job because I get to work hard, but then I have a lot of time off. You know what I mean? Where I could stream or just do whatever. But it was a little bit too long. I was like, am I still allowed to call myself a caster?
Yeah.
Can we actually get something going here? 11 months. We're finally back here. So yeah, we're going to go to Ultra Love now. This is a best of 3. Right now, Maru up with a 1-0 lead. Okay, we've got Maru here in the top right, Trigger here in the bottom left.
Big siege tank push from Maru and Game Number 1. And I feel like for Trigger, with the build order setup that he went for, going 2 gateways with the Twilight Council with a really fast Robo Bay for Colossus and a third base, you don't really have a lot of tools in your arsenal to stop a siege tank push that moves across the map that quickly.
Right.
Even if Trigger had perfect control with those Stalkers, I don't know if he's still able to defend. It was just not really a good build order setup for him against what Maru was doing. And this has really been Maru's MO, I think, at least since the GSL qualifiers, potentially because of his injury. Maybe it's the patch, maybe it's just the playstyle he's finding the most success with for meta reasons.
Right.
But he's been doing, you know, in TVP, a lot of gas first openings, a lot of double gas openings, a lot of things that culminate in a timing push with siege tanks, sometimes with an SCV pull, sometimes without an SCV pull. And I feel like if you're Trigger here, you need to do something a little bit more to shake up the defense
Someone's
on
written
Maru.
a short story.
Yeah, I was
on
going to say,
there. Yeah.
it's good luck to the
All right,
Grandcasters
well,
trying to. But I'm concerned for Trigger because Ultra loves another one of these maps where siege tank pushes can be very dangerous. You have that natural expansion where right at the base of the ramp, Terran can park their siege tanks. They can come in with Banshees, they can come in with Liberators, hold that position, and basically section you off from your third base and really cause a lot of positional trouble for the Protoss. And so I'm hoping that Trigger coming here into game number 2 goes for something maybe a little bit less greedy on the tech side, because I don't think Maru is going to let his foot off the pedal at all in terms of aggression. I really think we're going to see another push very similar to what we saw in game number 1.
Yeah, I think you're probably right, State. I think we're going to have some kind of aggression here. But, you know, there's an easy solution for that, right? I mean, you just kind of power out a couple more units and play a little bit more conservatively, and usually you can hold this. I mean, there's a reason why two-base aggression isn't the only thing people do, right? Because a good, solid macro player that just knows how to not be too greedy can hold that. So if that's what we're going to get, that's exactly what Trigger has to play like in order to survive into the phase of the game where he's going to have his strategy activate.
Little dance here with the Reaper and the Adept is Trigger. One for the Twilight Council. Now, last game, he did add in the robotics facility and a second gateway at the natural expansion before taking that third base. We'll see if he changes things up at all here. I'm so curious at where he's going to take this.
So for now, we're going to wait and see you know, if that two-base type of push is going to come. Trigger's basically doing the same thing as previously. Getting the Stalkers out, getting Blink. And this is pretty standard PvT nowadays, is to just sort of play defensively and try to tech up. And definitely be wary of Widowmine drops or anything like that that could screw the game up for you. Maru's going to push out here with the Cyclone because I guess why not, right? And he's going to get a kill on that Adept, so that's going to make Trigger a little bit more squishy back at home if that push does come.
Yeah, it's Cloak Banshee's actually coming in here from Maru. And unfortunately for Trigger, we were talking about him potentially shaking things up here in game number 2, and he is. He's not going for the Robo facility, he's going for a third gateway instead. Now I'm concerned he might not have detection for this Banshee.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah. Yeah, that's actually a very good point, State. So the Robo is going to come. It's going to be a little bit late. But, you know, it's not just you have observers. They got to be where the Banshee comes in. And we all know a Banshee can kill probes really quickly. Just two-shots them. So he could end up killing a lot of workers in the process here.
Yeah, a little bit more of a conservative opening here from Trigger, and Maru, of course, shaking things up here with the Cloak Banshee. And Siege Tank production not stopping. So I feel like this is probably just going to be another pathway for Maru to go towards maybe the same kind of aggressive approach, although Trigger, he has been a lot more conservative thus far. The third base coming in significantly later than it was in game number 1. This is a much less greedy build from our Canadian Protoss player. And I know from speaking with Trigger before the matches began today that he does have this on his radar, that Maru's going to be playing really aggressive, and I think that's kind of what he's fishing for here with the Stalkers to try and intercept some of these units, but unfortunately, like 2 ships passing in the night.
That's insane.
Oh, no, and the Banshee coming into the main base, so... Oh, Trigger caught out of position here in the main, and Maru... Okay, recall came in. Does he know that there's a siege tank push coming into the third base? I think he suspects it.
It might just look like there's that Cyclone coming, but yeah, the push is coming up here. The tank's here. This is a lot of Stalkers. He one-shots the Cyclone. He takes out the tank. He'll get the... Oh, does not get the Banshee.
Yeah, the Cloak cancels the shot there on the Stalkers. Still a lot of Marines alive. Blink on cooldown right now for a couple more seconds. This Banshee just wailing on the Stalkers, getting a ton of damage done. No detection here on the front line.
He's chrono boosting out an Observer. The Cloak does dissipate. He runs out of energy there. I think that was actually shot down. But the Nexus is canceled. And again, it's kind of the same story. that we had in the previous game. The Banshee is going ham on the probes. Even as the Marines are cleaned up, the probe count continues to drop. It's down to 8 now.
Ooh, so many workers going down here. Eventually, the Banshee will get cleaned up, but the third base is canceled, and Trigger right now at a 10-worker deficit here against Maru. I mean, that was not really the engagement I think Maru was gunning for there at the third base, with the Stalkers just getting the pounce on that siege tank straight away. But he still had so much firepower, the Marines on the ground, and those Cloak Banshees did so much work because the initial observer went to the main base of Trigger to stop that harassment. He had nothing on the front line to stop the DPS of that Banshee, and the Stalkers just took such a beating. And Maru behind this, he's powering up with 3 additional barracks. One of them just finished. He's continuing to upgrade. Trigger's going to try and expand and get +1 of his own. But this is a stage in the game where, as Protoss, you really want to have a significant economic lead over your Terran counterpart. That is kind of the way that the meta is supposed to play here as Protoss. And so for Trigger, I feel like he has to find some way to maybe get value out of these Stalkers, but it is going to be a challenge against Maru, who is buttoned up with these siege tanks.
Sorry, what's? Oh, I didn't see the tank. Sorry, I was like, there's nothing here. Yeah, you know, the Banshees are going to be such a nuisance. He can actually unpower a lot of these gates with this. Oh my god. I mean, right now, there's been really no damage to Maru at all. You know, it's crazy to think that this is a 3-base Protoss with Maru is actually ahead by 20 supply. And it's one of these things, like, Maru's so good that he's like, oh, actually, two Stalkers I can just micro against. I can just kill this off. Nice. So this may be the killing blow. I hope not, but I mean, this is looking pretty rough. Maru knows exactly. You know what I love about him? He's so good at the preemptive clicking away of units. Like, he looks at this and he goes, oh, you're going to hit my Raven next. So I'm already going to start to pull that back so you'll never kill that. And every time as Maru's army advances, like, more damage is done.
I feel like his micro at times isn't as flashy as, say, a player like Byun, but he is just so smart at predicting what his opponent is going to do that he always finds himself in good positions. And now it's Stim coming through. Maru looking to siege up the third base again. Trigger looking for a concave right now. Zealots coming on the left side. Oh, the Stalkers and the Zealots with a great flank there on the right. Every siege tank just wiped off the board right now. Trigger with a fantastic fight to start things out. Gonna have to retreat once those auto turrets get dropped. But man, that was basically a dream engagement for Trigger, taking every siege tank out before they could, you know, get in range of that third base.
Yeah, I mean, it was pretty sick.
That was so well done.
It was the first big victory the Trigger's had. No tanks in that army. There might be more that have been sent down. Oh, I guess not. I don't think that Maru can win this fight. This looks just a little bit too small. Am I wrong?
I feel like a lot of the firepower of Maru's army was just kind of hinged on having those siege tanks, and Trigger just pulled the rug out from under him. Some really nice control. The Stalker's blinking away.
Maybe he actually can break this. The medevacs are very low on energy, so there's not going to be a lot more heals left. It actually might be worth it for him to regroup and wait for these reinforcements. The Colossus is a big factor here as well.
Yeah, Colossus is going to have a lot of firepower here for Trigger. I don't think Thermal Lance is done quite yet. No Thermal Lance, not even being researched as Trigger basically all hands on deck, and oh man!
The boys have been pulled.
All right, that Colossus is going to have to really put some work in against these SCVs. Force field drops, actually a very good one, creating a bottleneck here. Maru's going to have to skirt his way around that. More Zealots being warped in by Trigger. Does have energy for Guardian Shield, instead opting for another force field, just trying to buy time because he knows with those SCV pulls, his income is better. He's trying to muster as many forces as he can to hold on. Another force field gets dropped, continuing to narrow this choke. Stalker is blinking down the left side, trying to focus down some of these medevacs. Actually, Maru pushing forward. Does he have enough?
I think that Maru might actually have enough here. It looks like there's just barely enough. The Colossus gets sniped. The Stalkers alone are probably not going to cut it. And I got to say, this was a razor-thin edge that Maru had once he sent those SCVs in here, but I think this is going to be the tipping point. Trigger cannot hang on anymore. The third base is going to fall. In fact, Maru could probably stutter step micro this all the way into the natural and just kill the source of the Colossus.
Yeah, man, Maru just steamrolling through that third base.
Now keep in mind, it's 26 workers to 36. So, like, Trigger doesn't have to leave just yet. I'm just worried he can't hang on much longer. Like this Colossus, I think even with the battery, it can't do anything.
There just isn't enough production here for Trigger anymore. He's got a lot of gas in the bank, no minerals. GG, Maru taking the 2-0 win. I want to give props to Trigger, though. He lost a lot of probes very early on in that game. He was down like 10 workers, 12 workers. At some stage, his third base got canceled, and he almost made the miracle defense happen there in the third base. That was very impressive against a player of the caliber of Maru, but Maru just with that killer instinct coming in. Game number 1, game number 2, 2 siege tank pushes, 2 victories in very quick fashion, and he's going to be moving on to the winner's match.
Yeah. Trigger looks like he's reviewing the replay of that last game. Trigger, by the way, pretty chill guy. Like, I don't think he's going to be too flustered by that last loss. I've seen players a lot more nervous. Maru looking stoic. Look, man, it's Maru. He's probably going to get out first in this group. He's probably going to win this season at GSL. Guys, we'll be right back. Rogue versus Nightmare coming up next.